Roll call, Ms. Williams.
Mr. Lyons.
Present.
Ms. Misbach. Mr. Kashani. Dr. Campbell.
Here.
Mr. DiTullio.
Here.
Ms. Goebel.
Here.
Dr. Meyer.
Here.
Dr. Mihalik.
Here.
Mr. Moy.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. The board met in executive session, I should mention, to discuss a personnel matter prior to this meeting. Item 1.02 is recognition of visitors. If anyone would like to address the board on business before the board, they may do so at this time. We will also have recognition at the conclusion of tonight's meeting. Item 1.03, student and staff recognition. Ms. Hathorn, thank you.
Thank you. Tonight we want to start at Pine-Richland Middle School for student and staff recognition. Pine-Richland Middle School has been redesignated in the Pennsylvania Dawn Eichhorn School to Watch program for a 4th time in 12 years as part of a recognition program developed by the National Forum to Accelerate Middle Grades Reform. PR was among the first group to be originally designated as a Schools to Watch. The process involves a rigorous set of criteria regarding academic achievement, a site visit for classroom observations, and interviews involving administrators, students, and parents. Schools to Watch requires schools not only to identify strengths, but also to focus on areas for continuous improvement. Schools will be recognized at the PA Association for Middle Level Education at State College on February 24th, and then in Washington, D.C. at the National Forum for National Schools to Watch Conference on June 27th. So big congratulations to the middle school, a team effort. The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is naming the Pine-Richland High School junior Tommy Mooney as top fundraiser in 2018. He raised more than $12,000 for the society in its annual fundraising efforts. 7th grader Chris Meyer took first place in the Pine-Richland Middle School Geography Bee, which was held on December 17th. 7th grader Michael Latari took second, and 8th grader Andrew Salvador earned 3rd place. Chris will be taking an online exam to determine if he qualifies for the state level competition in March. Students at Pine-Richland Middle School are gearing up for the production of Footloose in February. Students are busy rehearsing for the production, which will be held February 7th through the 9th. You can see the production each evening from 7 p.m. and also a matinee at 2 p.m. on February 9th. An additional performance will be held on that day. Visit pinerichland.org/MS Musical for tickets starting January 24th. Also, the Pine-Richland High School competitive cheerleading squad placed 2nd in the small varsity division and 4th overall in the WPIAL Championships and 4th in the PIAA. So the next stop is Nationals. Congratulations. Now, as you know, January is Board Appreciation Month, and each year Pine-Richland School District sets aside time to recognize members of the PR School Board, and the Pennsylvania School Boards Association chooses this time to honor those who volunteer time and energy to the community and to education. And as you know, all of you are volunteers and you commit numerous hours to serve our community. In appreciation, in the coming months, we thought about we'd share some scenes from of our student productions from around the district, so you can see how learning is not only occurring inside and outside the classroom on stage. And tonight we have some students from the theater classes along with teacher Michelle Bruno to share a scene from The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Michelle?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Board, for allowing us this opportunity to celebrate all the work that you do so that we can have excellent schools and excellent programs. Standing in front of you, I would like to say that these students not only exemplify excellence, but definitely represent the Pride values. During our production, they certainly had multiple opportunities to grow and learn, and so now I'm just going to leave it to them. Let's meet the cast. Katie?
Hi, my name is Katie Larimer. I was a student director, artistic director, and the China Friends Internship. Hi, my name is Mae Barton. I was the costume designer, and I also played rugby.
Hey, you guys want to see your college majors too?
Planning on majoring in communications.
Hi, my name is Tyler Hepler. I was a student director at the Scarecrow, and I'm majoring in musical.
Hi, I'm McKenna Excellent. I played the Tin Man, and I was also the technical director, and I plan on majoring in technical theater.
Hi, I'm Brandon Pierce. I'm a senior. I was the Conway Line. I was also the manager of public relations, and I plan on pursuing communications at theater.
Katie, would you like to tell us more about the class?
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you. So we kind of went out of order there, but I'm glad that you could see that the final product first, so this will be even more astounding for me to talk about. My name is Katie Larimer. I've told you that already, but I'm a senior, and this is my third year taking the class, and I was a director as well as Tyler Hepler, the Scarecrow. So I just wanted to give you some insight on the class, what it was like making this production, because it was something really amazing that I think we pulled together. So I'm a senior, this is my third year, and I didn't ever believe that I'd be a director of a show. I'm an artist, I don't really do theater very often, but it was something that got me out of my comfort zone. As we were finding scripts on what to make this show truly, we weren't quite sure at the beginning. But when Mrs. Bruno suggested The Wizard of Oz, we were all super excited to go for it. Dorothy goes through a lot in the show, and we knew that going into it that we can all relate to Dorothy. I think everyone in the district can. And that's something we really wanted to bring to everyone. And the pride values and everything that we've gone through as a district, it was important to us to bring this show. So, by the way, I'm not a public speaker, so if I am not, okay. So, going back to why we chose this script, I think it really shows throughout the process. We've had a lot of bumps in the road. We've had so many bumps in the road on the way. We've had problems with the Oz head. Like, just making Oz fall from the ceiling is a big deal when you're a class of 9 people. But somehow we pulled it all together. And everyone in this class had to go crazy for this show. All of us were carrying, everyone had a part. Brandon was our public relations manager. He had to reach out to everyone. He was running the Twitter. Tyler and I were directing for the first time in our lives. Maeve is an athlete, but she somehow pulled the lead role, did a great job, and was the costume director, which is just crazy. Our Wicked Witch was also our choreographer, and it worked out fantastically. We also pulled up kids from the younger schools, so it was really a whole Pine-Richland thing. A.W. Beatty helped us. They built the idea of the stairs that we all came up with. It was really an amazing feat, and I'm so glad that I had the opportunity. Thank you.
And all right, I'm going to wrap this up. So we talked about this production a lot, and we spent a lot of time on it. Literally from the first day of school till, when was our last show? Mid-February? Or even till today. And like, so we spent a lot of time, and so I learned so many things that I had no clue about because I never did anything technical with it. I'm the type of guy where you give me a script and I do it. And I never like go into the planning process or budgeting or like that stuff. Yeah, you guys know about that. That's insane. I don't know how you do that. But something I want to talk about for this class is there's so much more that goes on in this class than a production because we're done with this. That's like half the year. But we're doing so many great things. Right now, we're doing Shakespeare, and then we're going to go out and we're going to do a Shakespeare competition in Pittsburgh, which is an amazing opportunity our school gives us. We do improv games where not only do we learn to act, but we learn to be better people. Acting is just being truthful in imaginary situations. So you learn so much about yourself from this class. This is my second year in the class, and really, the opportunities this class gives me is astounding. And this is something, because people were broadcasting, if people are watching, I really hope that their kids like take a note of how amazing this opportunity is. Because, as Katie said, she's not a public speaker, but acting can relate to so much. Going out of your comfort zone, learning and reaching new heights. This class is literally our pride values. We're given so much opportunity to advance. And I just want to thank all of you for our time here and how we appreciate you guys supporting the arts. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You know, one word. Thank you so much.
Wow, incredible. Thank you so much. Before we wrap up, the Pine-Richland Education Association President Chris Vins, the Pine-Richland Education Support Professionals Association's Karen Murin, and Pine-Richland Opportunity Fund President Laura Ball are here to say a few words on behalf of Board Appreciation.
Good evening. To save us all, I'm not going to sing. I'm not going to act. I will speak briefly, though.
Mr. Kenny could.
Mr. Kenny, I know he
has skill.
Does it all, right? No, seriously. On behalf of Pine-Richland Education Association, which is approximately about 335 teachers, nurses, and guidance counselors, just want to say our sincere appreciation for all your hard work, dedication, and service. In my role, I can see how the decisions you make impact. I'm a third-grade teacher, so I see it in my building, but I also see it when I visit other buildings. The hard work that you guys put in the research, it really shows, and thank you very much. It's appreciated.
Good evening. I'm Karen Murin. I'm happy to be here to represent the Educational Support Professionals Association. On behalf of our members, I would like to express our sincere gratitude and appreciation for the hard work that you guys do that helps make decisions that affect the students and staff and everyone in our community. In honor of this school board, the PRESPA will be awarding a $500 scholarship to a deserving student when they graduate and from our school system to pursue continued education. And once again, we would just like to say thank you for your dedication and your commitment to our community. Thanks.
Good evening. Ooh, I have notes, sorry. Good evening, Pine-Richland Board Directors and Administration. My name is Laura Ball, and I'm here to represent Prof's gratitude for your service to our community and most importantly to our children. Prof is particularly grateful for the contribution of our school board liaison, Chris Misbach, who is not here, whose thoughtful input and passion for our mission is invaluable. This year, we're excited to announce that Prof trustees will sponsor a one-time $1,000 scholarship to a deserving high school senior in honor of Pine-Richland's 60th anniversary. The applicants will be judged on the following criteria: attending Pine-Richland High School for all 4 years, demonstrating involvement in the school district, and an essay that exemplifies Pine-Richland's impact on their educational experience that ties into PR Pride. We, along with the Pine-Richland parent and booster organizations, thank you tremendously for being our biggest fans, supporters, and partners. Thank you.
Many thanks to Prof for helping our community and schools. In turn, Wexford Elementary PTO has announced that they will make a $100 donation to the Pine-Richland Opportunities Fund on behalf of the school board, so we appreciate that. And now I'd like to turn things over to Barb.
Thanks, Rachel. On behalf of the administration, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the board members for their commitment to the students, the staff, and the community, as well as their support for the administration itself. At your desk, you'll find a little wooden cube, and the items on there are your personal name, the mission, as well as the 60th anniversary and the PR logo. Those represent important event, the 60th logo, as well as the focus of the district and the administration. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank some sophomores who made the cubes for us, Josh Remby, Patrick Connolly, Jacob Baldoff, for their work on the wooden cube gift, as well as the teachers Evan Clark and Jeff Seibert.
And just a few final comments on behalf of the senior leadership team. We say and believe leadership and governance matter. We have talked about that. It is hard to find an outstanding, excellent organization that does not have a governing body who is engaged at that right level. And just like the performance tonight, a lot of the hard work nobody sees. You see the performance. People come and they see a board meeting. They have no idea the commitment and engagement that goes into weekly reading, researching, understanding, asking questions, and probably the toughest thing, seeing how all the parts and pieces of a public school district operate. The general person has no idea the degree of detail and the depth that happens in order to run an $8 million organization with 500 employees, 4,600 students, a strategic plan, multiple contracts. It is significant. So we thank you not just for the evenings that you spend, but all those other times that you spend reading, researching, listening, and getting that alignment to, I mean, it fires me up thinking about mission, pride values are coming out of the Wizard of Oz, right? We have Mrs. Bucknam here from Sodexo. When she gave her last operational services update, she had a slide that showed alignment of Sodexo actions to the district values. That doesn't happen everywhere. And so we're excited for that, and you were very much a part of that. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you all so much. Ms. Ball, Mr. Vins, Ms. Marin, all the administration. We really appreciate it. This is a unique job. It's one where you get lots of credit if you're not doing the work. If you are doing the work, you're probably doing it wrong. And all that work is happening with you folks, not with us. And of course, with our students. And when you just see everywhere you look, there's just a talent and a reservoir of experience and educational experience going on that is just hard to comprehend. We see so little of it. I know I want to go to school where these young ladies and men go. And we do. We get to walk through the same doors as they do, which is a privilege for us, really, when we see these kids and we see the accomplishments that Rachel briefs us with every month. It's really our honor to be a part of this organization and what you guys make happen. So thank you all very much. All right. Correspondence, Ms. Williams.
Following people contacted the board regarding school start times: Jenny Browning, Dina King, and Laurie Heyman.
Thank you. Item 1.06 is a motion to approve the minutes as attached. Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2.01 is a strategic plan update from Dr. Pasquarelli.
Okay. I'll move over here. And again, thank you all. I think perfect night to talk about program of studies, because you saw it come to life here in a couple of different ways. You know, with the performance of the students, with the cubes that you have. Those are things that are happening in our classrooms day in and day out, and that is directly linked to what we're going to talk about tonight. So annually, we provide the board and community with an opportunity to see some of the changes that are coming up for our program of studies. This is, again, kind of kicking off the 1920 school year. So we're going to take you through some of those key changes. In the past, this presentation was about an hour. We're going to shorten that to about 10 minutes. That's our game plan. So they'll give me the hook here rather quickly. For me, the most rewarding part is how you're going to hear and see the link to what we're doing strategically in the district. You're going to hear about the in-depth program review, and the recommendations and the changes that are happening for our students are directly related to the work and the study that's happening with our staff, and that's second to none. So this image we show you from time and time again, and that's about continuous improvement and change. If you would look at the program of studies from 2013 and compare it to the program of studies going into the 1920 school year, it is literally day and night. The changes have been significant. We have them listed there. They're about helping students find the right course. So they go into the next year with a level of confidence that they need, but the level of challenge that's most appropriate for them as well. So again, we're really excited about it. We're going to share some of those new add-ons with you guys tonight that the students will have access here shortly. A couple of the high-level things that we're doing to really try to support families in making these decisions. You see at the bottom of this slide, 4 years ago we started meeting with all of our high school and middle school counselors, so they have the level of confidence of knowing that the changes that are coming out of the departments, they're clear with that, so when they meet individually with students, they can really provide them the guidance that they need to make those best choices. This year, a change that we're going to talk just briefly about with you tonight is college and career planning linked to graduation plan. Again, makes perfect sense as we're helping students think about the right courses as they go through high school. At the same time, we're providing them with opportunities to learn about themselves, about what's next, linking those two together so they have a high school plan that then leads into a what's next plan is really exciting for us. So you'll see a little touch on that as well tonight. Okay, I'm going to stop and turn it over to the high school team. For me, the ownership has shifted big time. The high school team, and that goes to the high school administrators, the academic leadership council members, the teachers, they have taken ownership of this program of studies, and you're going to see it in the language, you're going to hear it from the individuals that put this together. Extremely proud of them, and they're going to introduce themselves as they come forward. I think Stephanie, Dr. Sevilla is up first.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Before we talk about some of the new things in the program of study, we want to draw your attention to our graduation requirements, which haven't changed in the last couple of years. Some of you may remember when we had different requirements depending on your graduating class, but I think we found the right mix of requirements that allow students to experience classes and different levels of challenges across all departments, but then also give students room to play with their electives and experience our diverse opportunities in those department areas. With our scheduling process, we continue to refine this every single year. We do think our students now really understand what the expectations are as we start with our grade level meetings next month and move through the entire process. What I'd like to highlight here is that we continue to reinforce with our families and our students that this is the time for the heavy lifting through the scheduling process. This is the time for students to work not only with their families, but the school counselors, the teachers, even peers, to pick those right courses and make sure that they make appropriate decisions for scheduling for the next year. We want to alleviate all those concerns and worries over the summer when schedules come out. We want to help students make good decisions right now so they can end this year feeling good about going into the next school year. Part of continuing to refine our scheduling process is looking at the scheduling process data. You see the last several years of data. These are overall adds and drops. We do think this data is reflective of how successful we have been with refining our scheduling process. You'll notice that in this current school year, we did have a rise in add drops, but what we have shared with you up here isn't all of the data that we're collecting. So for instance, we have data on the number of drops that are happening in days 1 through 10, that initial drop period. We're also taking a look at add drops for specific courses within certain departments. And then one thing that we would like to add to that document is taking a look at the number of drops overall versus the number of drops per student. So we think we may see some differences between those numbers. So for instance, a student may have had a schedule overhaul and made 3 to 4 changes, whereas another student may have just made 1. So I think when you continue to see these numbers, we'll be able to refine that and really get some learning from that as we continue to track this data. Mrs. Bowman, I'd like to welcome her to continue to talk about our graduation plan and career planning.
Good evening, everyone. So to talk briefly about our graduation plan and career planning, we've had the graduation plan within the program of studies for a number of years now, but even this particular page continues to change as we are working to refine our processes at the high school. So what you see on the right-hand side is that career planning learning activities. Those are outlined for our students and families within the program of studies. It's linked to Naviance. And what's really most exciting about the graduation plan is how our students are using this document. It's now a Google Doc that's shared between the student and their family along with our guidance counselors. It's something that each building administrator has access to. So when I was sitting in a meeting this afternoon with one of our seniors, we talked, our discussion and talk was focused solely on the graduation plan and making sure that student was taking the necessary steps toward graduation. So it really has become a document that we use daily within the high school building. The new addition to our program of studies this year is a time management planning document for our students. So it aligns directly with the health and physical education program review and a focus that we have across the entire district and especially at the high school on student wellness. And so we are encouraging our students to think about their week. There's 168 hours in a week. So within that, we know as adults, there's only so many things we can do within that time frame. We want to make sure that we're supporting students in that as well. We have our students with us for 4 years. We want to make sure that we are setting them up for success and to be very independent as they need to be, whether they're moving into the job market, they're going on to college, they're going to have to be balanced and find that balance in their future endeavors. And so this student wellness document helps us to support them in that. It's new for our students this year, so we'll be introducing it as they begin to see the program of studies tomorrow when it's released, but we will also make sure that we share this as part of our grade level meetings with our students as well. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Kathy Thomas, our ALC for science.
Hi, everyone. The science department, we are 2 years out from our in-depth program review. And that program review is what continues to drive the work that we are doing in the science department. And it is what brings us to our 2 additions for next year's program of studies. So up at the top, you can see that this is coming from recommendation 6C from our in-depth program review. And part of what that recommendation was addressing was gaps that we were seeing in our environmental science at the high school, and exploring additional AP courses to our program of studies. So we are proposing the addition of the AP environmental science class for next year. The next addition is really coming from a ripple effect. one of the changes that we have already put into place from that program review was having all of our courses count toward the core graduation credit for science. And as that has taken effect, we're really seeing an influx of kids who are ready for and asking for a more rigorous course that is really addressing STEM careers, and specifically within STEM careers, medical careers. So the addition of the honors, human anatomy and physiology will hopefully meet that need. The last thing that I want to talk about very quickly is this is the overview of our pathways. So one of the things that we really try to stress with students when we have those conversations is the amount of flexibility that is available to them as part of the science department. So a student coming in 9th grade in our academic level has the ability to be sitting in an AP course junior year, excuse me. And then again, a student who may choose to come in honors biology and a couple years down the road has decided that science isn't necessarily going to be their focus, has the ability to move their pathways well so that they can focus on what they want to focus on. So the amount of flexibility being offered to our students is really a great thing in the science department. I believe that Mrs. Bowman is coming. Dr. Pasquinelli, sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to pick up, so Laura Blaze is our department chair for business and computer science, but she is not feeling well, so I told her by all means I'd pick this up. Again, linked to in-depth program review. Study happens, now recommendations, now this is implementation, and then we'll get a chance to see the results eventually with our students and that engagement in the classroom. So the recommendations coming out of the computer science business department, one is to add a honors finance and investment course. We currently have a personal finance course that was a year-long. We're condensing that down into a semester, and we believe through our study that we have an audience of students that are interested in, again, post-secondary, really business-minded people that would be desiring taking this particular course. So that would be a full-year course, honors, finance, and investment, and then they still have an opportunity for that personal finance experience as well. The other recommendation coming out for now for computer science is this mobile application design, and we really think students are going to be excited about this opportunity. They live it all the time with their smartphones and apps. Now to get a chance to see the other side of the design, the computational thinking that goes into the planning of an app is tremendous. So again, all that language is aligning to our study coming out of the in-depth program review. So those are a couple of courses that we are recommending for additions to our program of studies. Nancy's going to come back up, just talk a little bit about this partnership. We experienced this last year, but just the impact of this opportunity for both Pine-Richland and Mars Area School District.
So I'm going to share a story, briefly, I promise. But I was setting up in global studies after school for some testing we were having the next day. It was Keystone exams, and just getting the room ready. And then getting the room ready needed to put some dividers up. There were some ROTC cadets that were rehearsing for their upcoming drill meet that Saturday. And there were 3 students that came in and said, Mrs. Bowman, can we help you? And I didn't know the students' names. I knew that they were older students, but I get very frustrated when I don't know their names. Turns out they were Mars students who were there participating in our Air Force Junior ROTC program, and they were acclimated so well to the high school, they were willing and ready to step up and help in any way that they could. And that's what we have seen since the first day that the Mars area students have joined our high school. And they truly are, for the first portion of the day, Pine-Richland students for a brief period of time. But thanks to the collaboration between all of you supporting the students and the program, and the Mars area school board supporting the students in the program has grown to 102 students overall. It started way back in 11-12 with 38 cadets. This year we have 19 students from Mars, 83 from Pine-Richland High School, and the program continues to grow. I did have an opportunity to speak to a few of our Mars area students because they too are getting ready for scheduling, and not only are they excited to return, but they are also bringing some friends along with them next year. So this program has just continued to be a highlight for all of us. So thank you for your support of the program, and we're excited to see how this continues to develop. Thanks.
Okay, this again will be very quick. So the middle school in-depth program review, we saw an opportunity for pathways for science. So now at the middle school, there is a compacted extended pathway and a current pathway similar to what we offer in mathematics. So that is now established. This was year one of that opportunity. What's happening right now at the middle school is an in-depth study around the science curriculum, in particular 7th grade. So you can see the bulleted points there to really use all of that information and take that and condense it down into a comprehensive unit plan of study that integrates all the skills, again, that we talked about through our in-depth program review. We're really excited about the work that the 7th grade science teachers are doing and collaborating together. That's going to be pretty powerful. So tonight we are proposing the approval of both the high school and middle school program of studies, because again, we have aligned those schedules to support the students and families as they move throughout.
Dr. P, can you go back just for 1 second?
Which one?
Yeah, that one. So again, the other part of in-depth program review is the rippling effect. So we're in our second year where 6th grade at Eden Hall has science every day. So for those of you with older students, you remember they had science about half the year. They have science every day now. When that type of change is made, not only does the structure affect Eden Hall, but then we have to begin to feel what impact that has, scope and sequence as students move through the grade. So again, even though this is 7 through 12, there are pieces of this that connect to Eden Hall as well.
Okay, and Mr. Kushkus will close this out.
So I was trying to think of a way to relate this to Wizard of Oz. I think that the interactive program of studies will show you that you're not Kansas anymore. Yeah. All right. So if you navigate to the Pine-Richland website, you'll be able to click on the program of studies, which is just a good resource for families to be able to flip through. The pages flip, so it makes it kind of a neat sound when they do that. And then there you go. There it is.
You can't do that enough. Nothing gets you more fired up than that. Look at that. Okay, that's not what I can't see.
But just show them real quick the video as an example.
So the links, as you click through it, the links will link you to different parts of the program of studies. You could jump around pretty quickly and easily. And then embedded in the program of studies, you'll see these little images, and if you click on one, it'll pull up the video like the one you're going to see here. This is the Beatty, no? Yes, the Beatty video.
Trust us, it's a great video.
It is a great video.
But what it is,
high quality. A lot of buffering going on.
yeah, we need a bigger pipe is what we need here. But now, the concept is constant change, and we're trying to make it as interactive as possible. So we had Mr. Clack working with a couple of Pine-Richland High School students that are also attending A.W. Beatty, and they basically took everyone through the day in the life. So you see them entering the school, you hear about their opportunities at Beatty, and then they hear about that connection they still have here at Pine-Richland, and they can explore some of their own personal interest at Beatty. Don't worry about that. There's nothing to see behind the wall. That was an Oz reference again. Okay. All right. So that concludes our presentation. Thank you all so very much. Again, they really do a fantastic job. We're excited to roll this out for kids. We are in scheduling season officially, hopefully if board approved today, starting tomorrow. And so we'll be sending out communications to our families very soon. Thank you.
Stop. That's good. That's good. We'll see it. That's good.
Thank you. That was a little longer than 10 minutes, but with that information content, you can take another 10 next year, Dr. P. I really appreciate it. For everyone, one of the exhortations of the board, continuously the administration, but especially recently, is we really want to see the change that's pushing down into the classroom. So we've heard so much over the years about in-depth program review, about curriculum changes that are making, about the focus that we're taking and that we're seeing at this high level, but we want to make sure that that's really having an impact. How does it change my life as a student in Pine-Richland? And I thought this year's changes really exemplified that with changes in actual course offerings that were based on data, on talking to the students, looking at the pathways, looking at best practices, changes in offering the expanded and compacted pathway in science that are really the outgrowth of work that started 3 or 4 years ago that led to more science, different changes in science curriculum, media and hall, that's led to these students now having that expanded opportunity. So, you know, that is so important. I don't think we have a in-depth program review coming up again in science anytime soon, so I don't want anyone to get worried, but honestly, these processes of reflection, examination, improvement are going to have to be with us. I mean, especially when I think about in computer science and business, right? I mean, that's not going to be the last time we have to tweak the programming offerings. I think we have to recognize that. And so to see it done, I think, with so much thought and planning is really exciting for us. So thank you all so much, Ms. Bowman, Ms. Villar, Mr. Pushkis, and Ms. Thomas. Thank you for being here tonight to present this. Yep. 2.02 is, we're going to call this a placeholder for tonight, interest of time. School board strategic plan goals. We've talked about this a number of times, and we had some outlines that we discussed last year. I have it here to remind board members to give any feedback that you have on the items we've already discussed to myself or Dr. Mihalik. We have a workshop coming up in the beginning of February where we're going to lead more discussion and bring these into more concrete place. So I didn't have anything to add, but I wanted it up there as a reminder and a solicitation of input again from the board. Item 3.01. Personnel, Ms. Goebel.
Okay, item 3.01 is a motion to approve the personnel items as attached.
I will second that and mention this includes the appointment of Mr. Thomas Solopik, who's here with us tonight, as a full-time assistant principal at Pine-Richland High School. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes. Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Okay, would you like to introduce who you're with? Now, one of the things we did learn through the interview process is if we had Beauty and the Beast here tonight, he has the ability to dance with Belle.
I could.
That's the way we understand it.
And I have some experience in practice because I'm accompanied by my wife, Haley, but my dance partner at home is my little girl, Aniston, who's 2, and also my youngest, Lucy, who's just 8 months. So that's my team that's joining you all. So I just wanted to sincerely thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to get started with Mrs. Bowman and the team, Dr. Miller. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I would add, as our hiring process has improved over time, we become more effective at hiring to the vision, values, and sort of the system that we have in place. And what's exciting about the lineup that we have there is that they're different. And our high school is nonstop. And to have different experiences, different backgrounds, different strengths and gifts, and over time, as that group continues to build their own cohesion in leading the high school, it's exciting. And it takes a lot, because it takes a lot to manage a high school on a day-to-day basis. It takes even more to be able to strategically move it. And we really are excited about this team, and we look forward to, as they get to know each other and their strengths and figure out how to utilize those strengths the best to lead the building forward. So congratulations to TJ, and also congratulations to the other administrators at the high school.
We appreciate all of you.
Thank you all so much.
And I did suggest that they all leave as soon as this item is over, so please feel free.
Be a good time.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, guess move on. 3.02 is a motion to authorize the superintendent and director of human resources and legal affairs to hire staff for various positions to be formally approved by the Board of School Directors at the February 11th, 2019 school board meeting.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Just as a point of clarity, we do have a number of positions that are on the brink of needing to be hired. One in maintenance and custodial areas, paraprofessionals, some short and long-term subs also coming up here in the near future. So while we obviously attempt at every opportunity to bring those forward to you at the time of the meetings, timing-wise, it just has not worked out. We have a number following the holiday break that are coming up right around the next few weeks. So we do appreciate the authority there, so we can get those positions into their rightful buildings and continue the process forward. So if anybody has any questions about those or outstanding positions, please let me know. But I do appreciate the authority.
All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 3.03, motion to approve the affiliation agreement with Indiana University of Pennsylvania is attached.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Mine's locked up. Is anyone else moving or?
It's slow. It's buffering.
Okay. Item 3.04 is a motion to approve the student teacher listed below.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
And item 3.05, it's an information item regarding our staff service committee meeting that we held prior to this meeting. And we were able to review 5 of the 6 remaining policies from the 200 batch and got through those, and they'll be presented to the board at the next meeting. So.
Thank you, Jenny. Finance, in Mr. Kashani's absence, Ben or Greg, if either of your board docs is up and open on the item.
I'm on 401 right now, so I can do that one. Mine's acting slow. I can't click on 402.
If you guys can pull that off every other, I'm good.
If you go into your Google Drive, there is a PDF of the agenda.
There always is.
Well, I've got it. It's up now. All right, I'll take it. So item 4.01, we have a motion to approve the financial reports dated December 31st, 2018, and accounts payable dated January 14th, 2019, in the amount of $539,035.68, and paid accounts for December, January in the amount of $8,029,807.09 as listed.
You have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4.02 for budget transfers. We have a motion to approve the budget transfers in the amount of $42,175 as attached. Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4.03 is a transfer of funds. We have a motion to authorize the transfer of $2 million from the Farmers National Bank money market account into the general fund to the Pennsylvania Local Government Investment Trust account in the general fund.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4.04, our Act 1 resolution not to exceed the index. So we have a motion to approve a resolution pursuant to Section 311D1, Special Session Act of 2006, certifying Pine-Richland School Board will not raise taxes at a rate to exceed the school district's Act 1 index of 2.3% for 2019-20 as presented.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes. Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, item 4.05. The exoneration of local real estate tax, exoneration of local real estate taxes.
Get into my Google
Up there.
Where is it on the Google Drive?
Motion.
If you open that tab that's there,
I couldn't even get mine
should be in
open.
there. Should be right open to the
I'll just read it from up there. Motion to exonerate the local real estate tax collectors for Pine-Richland Township and the Township of Pine for the 2018 tax duplicate, and to turn over the 2018 delinquent tax listings to the Jordan Delinquent Tax Services for collection.
Dr. Meyer.
Oh, and mine just popped up.
Any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion 4.05 carries.
All right, item 4.06, the Senior Citizen Tax Rebate Program. Again, it's still in the load, so it's a motion to approve the 2018 Pine-Richland School District Property Tax Rebate Program Resolution as presented.
Any discussion?
Just as a reminder, this is a program to reduce the tax burden on senior citizens with low income, 65 and over. I think incomes of $35,000 or less a year. So a really good program. Hopefully everyone who's eligible is taking advantage of that.
All those in favor? Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, item 4.07, our membership in the AIU Joint Purchasing Board. This is a motion to continue the Pine-Richland School District's membership in the Allegheny Intermediate Unit Joint Purchasing Board, which will be empowered to make bulk purchases of selected items for 2019, with Dana Kirk named as the representative and Rachel McCarthy as an alternative to the Joint Purchasing Board.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And finally, item 4.08, a reminder of the Finance Committee meetings. This is an informative item that we'll have a meeting on February 11th, 2019 at 6 p.m. For the Joint Finance Staff Services Committee meeting. There's also a joint one on April 8th, 2019 at 6 p.m. So the tentative topics include the 2019-2020 budget and staffing.
Thank you, guys. Dr. Meyer, Academic Achievement.
Item 5.01 is a motion to approve the 2019-2020 High School Program of Studies and the Middle School Program of Studies as attached.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I'm just going to say, with what I do, my line of work, I work with lots of school systems, and I want everybody on the board and out there to know that this is not the norm, okay? The work, the thought that they put into developing the program of study, the data that they use, the way they go about it, is not something you see in a lot of school districts. So the mindful work that they do is really outstanding, and there's a reason and data to back it up for every decision that's made, and that is simply not the norm. So, good job, guys.
But we do expect it.
We do, yeah.
It's the new norm. For us.
Good job. Any other discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. DiTullio.
Item 6.01 is an action item, a motion to approve roof consultation proposal from Florida Consulting in the amount of $3,500 to assess district-wide the building roof systems in order to prioritize the need for repairs at the different facilities.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 6.02 is a motion to approve a 3-year extension with the current agreement with Direct Energy on the Columbia gas system, which will cover the time period of September 1st, 2019 to August 31st, 2022, with a basis price of minus 0.219 per decatherm.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll second that.
What's our current rate?
We are on, it is a negative 0.71 per decatherm. So it's still negative, but it's not what it was.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 6.03 is a motion to approve a 3-year agreement with UGI Energy Services on the Peoples Natural Gas System, which will cover the time period September 1, 2019 to August 31st, 2022, with a basis price of minus 0.39 cents per decatherm.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Same kind of say.
It's the same rate.
Yep.
All those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 6.04 is a motion to approve the disposal or donation of outdated athletic equipment, and there is a slew of it.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 6.05 is an information. It's for board consideration at the February meeting to approve tower engineering to conduct a study of the HVAC systems at Pine-Richland Middle School at a total cost of $17,160.
It's an information item.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's information, yeah. So discussion. When's the last time this was done? Do we know?
I'm going to assume that it was done when the middle school was last renovated, which would be a few decades ago.
Okay.
So one of the things that we had talked about a few months ago when we were approving the 1-unit ventilator was the one that was brought forward was essentially kind of a replacement of that same type of system. As Gary started to look into different options of, something quieter and other types of ventilation systems, it started to become a little bit more complicated of trying to piece together some of those systems with the system that we currently have overall within the district. Not to say that those aren't possible, but he even admitted that at some point, we really probably should have some type of expertise in terms of looking at not only those unit ventilators, but also the overall building system and try and get some clarity. One thing you'll notice from that proposal also is that it involves a host of different things. So in our strategic plan a few years out, we start looking at some types of sustainability and renewable energy and those types of things. One of the alternates per se within the 17,000 is looking at solutions for a building such as that of partnering with some solar energy and trying to look kind of outside the box. So kind of the base proposal looks at replacing the base system and what that would look like with today's type of technology, but some of those other proposals too start to kind of factor in some of the other environmental considerations that we can look at as well.
All right. Any more discussion on that? Item 6.06, which is not coming up. Oh, yep, it just came up. Sorry. This is information for board consideration at the February meeting as well, to approve Eccles Architecture to complete the design and bid specifications for exterior window replacement, restroom renovations, and exterior improvement to Richland Elementary, and to approve Eccles Tower Engineering to conduct the assessment of HVAC controls at Richland Elementary at a total cost of $62,100. Any discussion?
I'll just comment there that, my daughter being at that school, I've talked with some teachers and so on, and I know they're going to appreciate these upgrades for the windows and so on at the building.
Any further discussion? Okay, item 6.07 is also an information. The district, on preventative testing initiative, the district has taken a proactive approach to preventative testing that exceeds regulatory requirements. The district has earned $26,000 grant through the Women for Health, Healthy Environment Initiative, Lead in the Water, Lead in the Paint, and radon testing remediation in October. By establishing this baseline, the district can mitigate areas of concern as an important effort to ensure the safety of our students and our teachers and all staff.
If I could add just a few details to that. So we're at a place, we had hoped to hit this meeting, but we don't have all the reports back. But on the February 11th agenda for information, we will have in each of those 4 areas. So it's lead and water, lead and paint, radon, and we also did 45 additional indoor air quality samples. So we took 10 from each from the high school, middle school, and Eden Hall, 5 from each of the primaries, just to reestablish another baseline of indoor air quality testing. So each of those 4 tests will lead to a summary report, that summary with a little executive summary, and then all of the detailed test results. So we'll put all of that on the board agenda, not for any action, but for public transparency of both the testing and the results that we have. As we do those tests, there's the need for some, mitigation, remediation. So we shared with our community about lead and water. It's been a couple of months ago now, and those replacements and changes occur. But largely, we're in incredibly good shape with that. And so last week we received the radon results. Mr. Zhang is working with a couple of companies to help us understand any potential steps we need to take. We expect by later this week we'll be able to send a communication to staff and the community about those results. But again, largely really positive. And so it feels good to not only exceed a requirement, but to be able to then implement again, we don't need to do this every year with every test, but there will be some cycle, depending on the test, of preventative testing, which then helps us feel confident in the environment that we work and learn in. So again, really appreciate the work by Mr. Zhang. He'll be present as well on February 11th in case there are any questions about that.
Thanks, Greg. Dr. Campbell, Student Services.
Okay. Item 7.01, we have a Student Services consent agenda. So it's a motion to approve the Student Services items 7.02 through 7.09 as listed below, which are a state leadership conference, a competitive cheer trip, 3 Air Force ROTC trips, a state geography B, Odyssey of the Mind trip, and PRHS ski club trip. Just to summarize, only 3 of those are asking for money for a total of, items 2, 7, and 8 are asking for money, which we have budgeted. It's going to cost $13,000 in all, serving 40 students. So it's a consent agenda to approve all of those at once.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries.
Right, item 7.10 is information. The competitive cheer group qualified for the state championship by placing 2nd in the small varsity division and 4th overall at the WPIAL competition the weekend of January 5th, 2019. The group competed at the state level on Friday, January 11th, 2019 in Harrisburg, PA.
Thank you, Dr. Campbell.
Oh, there's 7.1.
Yep.
Just a reminder of the Joint Student Staff Services Committee meeting on March 4th at 6 p.m. And tentative topics include student activity fee and 200 policy review.
Thank you. Operational Services, Dr. Moya, though I think, Mr. Moya, did you want to take this? Right?
Dr. P, I think, is going to. He might turn it over to Dr.
Silva. This is, again, just an informational item. This is something that we've obviously been talking about for a period of time. So this is for the board consideration, conversation around school start time. We've made some modifications over the period of time based upon feedback and additional research. Over those months, we've been working closely with Student Transportation of America, looking to be as efficient as we can for our bus routes. So we have, from the beginning, looked at an opportunity to have a positive impact for our secondary students, and to the best of our ability, minimize that impact for our elementary age students. And we feel like we have done that through this latest proposal. So you can see some of the numbers that are listed here in the summary. So it impact for the high school, about a 25-minute later start time. We see a minimal impact on our elementary age students. We've talked about throughout, again, through this process, about that combined effort between home and school. So partnering with families and encouraging good behaviors as we've tied into our program of studies. You saw that around time management and wellness. If we can really build that partnership, we can think there's a significant impact we can make for our secondary age students.
Thank you for the update. And I'm glad you put the link to the podcast. I know myself, with the holidays, I did not get to it for a couple weeks. When I did, I was very happy with what I saw. Just the relentless focus on the data and refining based on public feedback has been excellent. Minimizing the impact to other grades, obviously. Bringing references to outside research where applicable, and sometimes we don't have perfect research to fit in that hole, but acknowledging what we do know and what we're trying to do. So I think it was great, and it's you know, I'm certain to refer people to that when they get questions. So thank you.
If I can just add, so I'll start out by saying that when this originally came out, I was against the idea the way that it was presented. And Dr. P got his moment to see the pages turn, so I'll give Dr. Miller a decide here, right? So this is, to me, part of the whole decide, as we talked about how we're going to make decisions, and you go through the decide. We've touched every number except for we haven't made the actual decision yet on the last D. But really what this is going to do, we've gone through everything. We've listened to the different opinions of everybody. We've made modifications, and all in all, what it happens is we've not impacted those who were worried that they were going to be impacted negatively, but we've been able to put a change in place that's going to impact the high school students positively. And again, I don't think we would have necessarily gotten to this unless we went through this whole procedure. So in that essence, I am going to vote for it based on the fact that it's been modified, the research was done, but at the same time, we didn't get into this quagmire of just getting too much data and never making a decision. We're at a point where we can make a decision, and it's going to be a positive decision. So I'm going to vote for it because of the changes that were made, and I'm very happy with the way the procedure went, and I'm much happier with the end product than I was with the starting product.
It's something Mrs. Bowman shared. You could see it to some degree on the screen, but that time management page to go along with the graduation plan, again, what that was intended to do is help high school students sort of say, if I'm in this honors course, how much homework can I anticipate studying out of class time? Then I participate in this sport or activity, and how much time does that take? And then I need to exercise, or I need to watch my younger kids and babysit, or I need to sleep. And how can students at that's the group that we're trying to support, how can they make decisions in advance by design that help them be healthier and well? And if they can learn some of those lessons at a younger age, then we can have not only a positive impact here, but we're helping equip them when they leave here. So that's another example. We said, you know, this isn't, you can never, I should say never, rarely does a structural change in and of itself, is that the answer? It can help. But there's a whole lot of other decisions that students need to make in order to make healthy choices and be well. So again, thank you for your comments. And the work does not stop after a board action on something like this. That's really where it begins, because there would need to be an effective transition, and then we need to think about all of those other things beyond a structural change that contribute to healthy kids.
Yeah, I'd like to add also, I've enjoyed watching this process of refining the plan based upon community feedback and stakeholder input and everything. Whether the change happens or not, one thing that got brought to my attention that I'd like to look at after this whole process is what methods we could put in place for early student drop-off at a low cost for our younger students at the Eden Hall and the elementary level, because a lot of parents brought up the fact that it's very hard to, even at the current start time, to get their kid on the bus and get to work at a reasonable time. And things like stepping stones have waiting lists now, and other school districts have brought to our attention that have low-cost ways of dropping off a student for a half hour early, 45 minutes early, so the parent can get to work at time and have some structured activities for the student, like an early morning recess, essentially, or indoor recess. So I'd love to see something like that looked at after this process, regardless of which way the vote goes on it.
Any other feedback? Just as a reminder, this will be a voting item at the February board meeting on February 11th. Item 9.01 is a discussion around open AIU board positions. There is a candidate letter attached from the AIU. There are 5 open positions at the IU Board of Directors coming up for election or re-election this year. I'd like to ask you to support my candidacy. I have decided I'll run again for a 3-year term, which would require a motion approved by the board at our next meeting. I would also like to ask people to maybe save the date on Thursday, April 4th, which is the Allegheny County or Allegheny Intermediate Unit Board Convention, which this year will be held at their central office down in Homestead. So we're trying something different. There's been a number of permutations of this, a fancy dinner downtown, hotel Station Square, and we really felt we do a number of workshops through the year, having something where it was at our offices where people could see the work of the IU. If you haven't been to the building, it's a nice building. There's a lot of great work going on down there. So we're going to try something different, maybe make it a little bit more attractive for those who have to travel some miles. And as a candidate, I would also appreciate your votes, which is open to school board directors from throughout Allegheny County, with the important caveat that your vote counts in proportion to the weighted average daily membership of the school district, which makes you as Pine-Richland school directors very valuable to me. So if you can save that date and you can approve me as a candidate in February, I'd appreciate that. Item 9.02 is a reminder of the workshop I mentioned earlier on February 4th, beginning at 5:45 p.m. And under reports, Dr. Miller?
Yeah, I have a brief update regarding school safety. So we have a planned communication going out tomorrow. You may have heard just through regular media about this Safe to Say Something. Safe to Say Something was a legislative action that then built a Commonwealth-wide reporting, anonymous reporting opportunity or mechanism via phone, via website, via smartphone application, in order to share a concern or over an issue of safety, whether it's to self or others. So we're going to bring that to the attention of our staff and community. That today was the first day for that. But one of the things that we're going to highlight in our communication to our community is we have a couple of other things in place that we think are critical to understand. First is with our students, we build in, as a part of our school day and as part of our curriculum, what a trusted adult is, trusted adult at school, and trusted adults at home. And if there's a situation where a student doesn't feel safe, either about themselves or somebody else, we want them talking to a teacher, talking to a counselor, talking to an administrator, talking to their mom or dad, so that information can be shared quickly with us, and we can take whatever action we need, either to support a child or to investigate. So one of the things that we've talked about in past years is around that idea of reporting. And this is happening all the time. We are having students who are concerned about something, and it could be a friend that they want to help and they're worried about them. They're coming to staff members, and that is critical to a safe school climate and environment. So that's sort of number one. Number two, we have the Northern Regional Police. And so parents also, or kids, but usually parents, communicate directly to the police if they hear about something or are concerned about something. Added to that is our district tips line. So we have an anonymous mechanism, and that anonymous mechanism goes directly then to Northern Regional Police, who can work in consultation with us. The reason those first two methods are so effective is because they immediately get the people involved right here closest with the information in order to act. This, safe to say something, is now another option that will be available to anyone in the world with an internet connection, but certainly anyone in the Commonwealth. So the concept of that is very positive. The challenge of that is, as any time a large entity takes on that kind of responsibility, is the processing, the management, the levels of communication, and how quickly we get that information. So it will be in our letter tomorrow. It's another opportunity for staff, students, parents, others to share concerns, but we will continue to promote and emphasize kids talking to teachers and adults, or their parents and their parents talking to us, and the tips line, and just local communication, because we believe it's been effective and it's the fastest way to respond to something.
Thank you. Any other reports from the board or administration? Okay, we'll move to item 10.02, recognition of visitors. If anyone would like to address the board, please do so at this time.
Hi, my name is Renee Hoy, and I currently have 4 children in the district. I have a 6th grader, 2 4th graders, and a 1st grader. And tonight I'm here to discuss the proposed shift in school start times. I appreciate all the effort and time that the school district has put into this project. However, my concern is that the delayed start times are not going to solve the issue of sleep deprivation. Depression, sleep deprivation, and bullying all increased after the invention of the smartphone. I have several studies that I am happy to share with the school board and school administrators that show how the increased use in smartphones has affected young people, including altering how the brain works in young people, affected sleep duration, increased the body mass index of young people, created a device and social media addiction, increased depression, and increased cyberbullying. According to sleep medicine, when they compare the sleep duration of adolescents in 2015 versus 2009, adolescents in 2015 were sleeping less than 7 hours a night. Sleep medicine found increased media screen time is affecting the sleep duration in adolescents. They recommended public health interventions targeting electronic device use to improve adolescent health. Unfortunately, the actions proposed by the school will do nothing to curb the use of smartphones by middle and high schoolers. It is a parenting issue, and I feel our lives are going to be disrupted for nothing. I have to ask, if the start times are changed, how does the school district plan on tracking to see if it makes a difference? What are you going to do if it makes no difference? I don't think the school realizes the impact a delayed dismissal is going to have on the elementary students. On paper, a shift of 15 minutes doesn't look much, but in reality, it makes a world of difference. For instance, my 1st grader gets home now anywhere from 4:15 to 4:35 p.m. His bus has a scheduled drop-off time of 4:29 p.m., but depending upon who is driving the bus and when it is loaded determines when he gets home. On the days he gets home at 4:15, life is great. On the days he gets home at 4:35, it's a mad dash to get him fed dinner, homework done, and a rush to get to his activities. If his drop time is moved to 4:50 p.m., then he will not have time to eat dinner and get his homework done before his activities. Doing homework in the morning is not an option in our household. We feel teaching our children time management and good study habits in elementary help them as the workload increases with each grade level. With the proposed time shift, the school district will be putting parents like myself in an awkward position, forcing us to either restrict our children from participating in activities or going against what we've taught our children with homework first. Not to mention the decreased outside playtime on the nights we have no activities. Do you honestly believe children ages 6 to 9 years old should have the same hours as an adult working an 8-hour job? The question I keep asking myself, and now I'm asking you, is why should the elementary students be the sacrificial lambs for the middle and high schoolers? In conclusion, I'd like to restate the fact that there are several studies that show smartphone usage is affecting the sleep patterns of adolescents, and moving the school start time and dismissal time is not going to solve this problem. It's a parenting issue, not a school district issue. Parents need to step up and set appropriate screen time and bedtimes based upon their children's schedules. And I have the studies right here if anybody's interested.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Actually, if you could give them to Ms. Williams, she'll make sure copies get to all the board members and the administration.
Copies right here for you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Amy Woods. I'm a physician at West Penn Hospital. I was recruited here a few years ago from Allegheny Health Network from my hometown near Indianapolis, Indiana. I came from a very large school system. Graduating class in high school there was around 1,200. So when I came here, I was very pleased. I'm very happy in the Pine-Richland School System. I have had the opportunity to speak to some people that are on the board and also review the podcast regarding school start times. I applaud all the work, the research, the time, and the effort. And I do support the plans that you have now. But I did want to support also a comment that Dr. Campbell made earlier. Some of us are working moms. My start time at work is 7 a.m. and I don't finish until 6 or 6:30 p.m. My biggest challenge is the morning. I haven't had an opportunity in the last 3 years to have someone even at my house in the morning who's willing to come as early as I need. And I know Stepping Stones is there, but once my son started at Eden Hall, I had to stop Stepping Stones because I live near Wexford Elementary. I can't get one kid to Wexford Elementary and another one to Eden Hall. Someone said, well, maybe you could start by stopping at Eden Hall, but if you can only realize what that means to wake up time for a 6-year-old who's not going to start school for another 3 to 3.5 hours. I need a quality program that's reliable, that maybe would even take into consideration the fact that 9-year-olds aren't old enough to be at home alone, which is what I was recommended by many people. I called around to many of the daycare centers around here, and because my son was turning 10, he wasn't eligible to be at the daycare centers. And my youngest one, only being 6, needed to go somewhere too. So we've been struggling for the last couple of years. As I said, I was recruited here not knowing any family or relatives. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be part of the program. But as a physician, I do also support the idea that our kids need sleep. And not only do our upper level kids need sleep, but my primary care kids need sleep too. And if they're not at sleep, we need some quality programs. Our community needs to pick up and maybe shift those after school programs that we might have done after school to before school or even through the school, that maybe we could incorporate more children who could participate. I've known other families through our scout programs that are here in town who have stopped using some of the programs because of the cost. And we need to look at opportunities where children can go safely for 3 hours before school starts. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Whistle. Would anyone else like to address the board? Seeing how there is none, I'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting to an executive session to discuss a student matter. Have a good evening, everyone.